Hello from Bangkok, everyone. I am Pavini Angkanarak from the membership team, and today I'm here with my colleague, Miss Monica Panwa.
Hello, thank you so much.
All right, how was your weekend, Mona?
Oh, very nice, very nice. It was a bit of a relaxing weekend.
Wow, yeah.
But then I was also looking forward for this week too.
Yes, me too. So what we gonna have like for the first day of week 3?
Okay, so the week 3 we are actually going to start the week. Let me tell you all, it's a Nepal tourism week. So we are going to start the week with the destination briefing.
Wow.
And then after that we are going to have game session, and then we are going to end the day with the momo making session, which I'm personally looking forward.
Yeah, me too. I think I actually never tried momo before. So.
It's okay. Today we also actually have momo in our office here, which we are going to have it along while we watch the session.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yes. So with us for the Nepal tourism destination, let me introduce you to Mr. Bimal Kadil. He is the manager, PR and publicity from the Nepal Tourism Board. So without any further delay, I want to pass it on to Mr. Bimal so that he can tell you more and show you more on the beautiful side of Nepal. Yeah, to you, sir.
Hello. Hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to all of you to this session. The highlights of the presentation would be Nepal's transformative tourism for a lifetime experience. Happy to meet all of you here. For those of you who are already here, a warm welcome. And those of you who will join later, you are also most welcome. Without further ado, let me straightforward go to the presentation. It gives me immense honor, pleasure, and happiness to make a brief destination presentation on this beautiful country, Nepal. Nepal, a Himalayan country situated between India and China. It is the home of the mountains, including the Mount Everest and the abode of the gods. In 2 words, we can summarize Nepal as the home of Mount Everest and the birthplace of Buddha. What a thrilling combination is this? When you look at the Everest, the highest pyramid on earth, a symbol of adventure, aspiration, ambition, perspiration, and the spirit that never dies. And birthplace of Buddha in the southern plains of Nepal, where Lord Buddha was born 2,600 years ago. It's a symbol of depth, symbol of silence, symbol of peace. On one side, you have the Everest, touching the height with your hands. And on the other side, you have Buddha, feeling the depth of his silence, delving into the mystery of enlightenment. So a rare combinations of an external world as well as the inner world mysteries. And this exclusive experience is confined to this beautiful country, Nepal. Because of its unique locations under the shadows of the Himalayas, it has a magical aura, a mythical experience, and a mystical experience. And that has inspired a rich cultural diversity and harbored a vibrant biodiversity. When one lands in Kathmandu airport and when one travels to the downtown cities and move around the valley, you can feel the vibes, you can feel the time that has gone by. What you see today in the Kathmandu Valley is a culmination of 3,000 years old of continuous habitated history. Straight from the Gopal dynasty to the Mahispals, Kirat dynasty, Lichavis, Thakuris, Malla, Sa, and the contemporary modern Nepal. So it is a melting pot of different cultures and religious practices, which is a melting pot of all the cultures that are concentrated in this valley. And one of the most unique features of the capital city that I'm talking to you from is that it harbors a rich urban civilizations. The soil is so fertile and the climate is so pleasant that because of the abundance of the nature, because of good harvest, because of the good agriculture, there was enough surplus in this valley. And because of the surplus, it gave the people opportunity to think about art, literature, architectures, festivals, pottery, wood carving, metal carving, as well as a lot of intangible heritage. One of the most intriguing part of the valley is how the culture and religion intertwines, the harmony of Buddhism and Hinduism. If you move around the city of Kathmandu, one feels that the concentration of the UNESCO heritage sites, for example, if you go to Bhaktapur, all within a premise, you can see the temples, the residence of the king, the official workplace, the royal bath, the granary, the open space where people could meet during the festivals, and such kind of things, all within a complex. It's a world in its own self. Every place looks so ornately decorated, and the aura of the place is completely divine. When we conduct our life, the most unique thing about this place is that we follow the lunar calendar. And according to the lunar calendar, we synchronize the seasonal activity with the phases of the moon. Our festivals, our harvest times, our social gatherings, and our prayers and our rituals all are governed by the lunar calendar. But now moving from history to how it all started, from a tourism perspective, I would like to remind you that Nepal's tourism was open to the outside world after the conquest of Everest in 1953. So far, till date, till the end of 2019, there were more than 6,500 successful Everest summiteers. Nepal harbors 9 peaks above 8,000 meters, including Mount Everest. Inspired by the mountains, the slow pace of the city, friendly people, pleasant climate, and the mystical aura of the place, very shortly after the conquest of the Everest, words of publicity ran through the continent about the beauty of the place and the serenity of the environment. Hippies started coming to Kathmandu in the 60s. It was not an easy job for them to come to Kathmandu right from the Western countries. It was a journey of more than 10,000 kilometers. They took a ride on a truck. They asked for a lift. They hitchhiked. They braved against the desert. They went into the jungles, and they came to Istanbul and to Persia, and onwards to Pakistan, India, northern part of India, and finally onto Kathmandu. And when they come and see this place, this was their living heritage, they were so much excited. They think, wow, this is the country of their imagination. This is a destination of their dream. This is how it started, that the image of Nepal began to be spread to the Western world. And ever since, our tourism has been moving forward, never looking behind. When you talk about the diversity of the place, it's immense. It's incredible. Within the country, there are 125 ethnic groups which speak 123 different languages. When one strolls around the valley and outside the country, there is certain common pattern. You can see the sound of the drums, the music of the flute, the striking of the cymbals, the chiming of the bells, the fluttering of the prayer flags. All this adds to the spiritual aura of the place. Again, coming to Kathmandu Valley, there are 3 most important jatras in this valley. there are dozens of jatras, but particularly when you think in terms of mass participations and intensive preparation, you can see that the Indra Jatra of Kathmandu Valley, the Ratu Machindran Jatra of Patan, and the Biscuit Jatra of Bhaktapur are worth quoting here. So, along with these jatras, a lot of stories, legends, myths are associated. The myths of the love of Shiva and Parvati, the compassion of Bodhisattva, the story of courage, the story of sacrifice, the story of adventure, the story of black magic, universal sorrow, happiness, success, peace, and war. All these themes are highlighted in the jatras conducted in this country. One of the most interesting features of this place is that the Hindus and Buddhists, they have common gods and common place of worship. If you go to Swayambhunath, you see people of both faith come and worship in this place. If you particularly look at Kumari, the living goddess of the country, she is born from a Sakya clan, from a Buddhist family, and once she becomes Kumari, she becomes goddess Taleju, a deity of the Hindus. Muktinath, the place of salvation. In the Hindu faith, our ultimate goal is mukti, liberation from the bodily bondage. That place, the Hindus revered as the temples of Vaishnavism, temples of Vishnu, and the Buddhist has its legends associated with Guru Padmasambhav. Halesi Mahadev, the Pashupati of the East, it is also the temples of Mahadev, a form of Shiva, and it is also the place where Guru Sambhav got enlightenment. So it is revered by people of both the faiths. So one particular thing I would like to mention is that the two things come as one in this country. And this is one of the most unique features of Nepal. Everywhere you go, there are symbols, there are inspirations, there are vibes, and there is something, stories associated with every object that you come across. For example, if you happen to go to the stupa, for example, Buddha stupa, the largest stupa of the world, it's considered the largest stupa. You see that the base represents the earth, the dome represents the water, Harbika represents the fire, and 13 stages of salvation. The spire that you see tapering towards the top, it symbolizes air, and beyond is the ether. So the 5 elements of existence are manifested in the monuments. Likewise, if you happen to trek in the mountains of Himalayas, you see a prayer flag fluttering all over. And each of these colors that has its own symbolic significance. For example, blue represents the compassion, yellow represents the middle path, red represents the blessing, white represents the purity, and orange represents the wisdom. So everywhere you go, there is some lessons to be taken. Everywhere you go, there is some inspiration waiting to mold your mind. If you happen to go to Pashupati, the inside part, the inside part, the shrine of the temple, it has the phallic. In the phallic is facing 4 sides, 4 cardinal directions. The east facing phallic symbolizes the highest form of being. The west facing phallic is a giver of joy. The north facing phallic is the master of occult. And the south is Aghori, which represents going beyond the terrible. So Nepal is a destination which gives you an experience. So if you come visit this place with the right frame of the mind, many things can happen. Another interesting features of this place is that the communities scattered all over the countries, they are so unique by themselves. For example, if you take the Gorkhas, They're noted for their bravery, courage, and sacrifice. If you take the Sherpa communities, they have highly skilled climbing skills, and which is almost humanly impossible. They can go on a high mountain without supplementary oxygen. If you happen to traverse in the southern plains, there is a community called Tharu. It is believed that they have become resistant to malarial parasites. Similarly, the Rautes, we have a community of people, Rautes, who still roam in the jungles, adhering to their traditional behaviors. And the Chepang community, very near to modernization, yet away from modernization. So you have a complete mix of amazing diversities in this country. So since the presentation is on about a lifetime experience, I'm sure you'd be wondering what would a lifetime experience look like? Just to give you a few example. Suppose if you go on a Mount Everest flight, you can see the Everest from a distance of 7 kilometers with your naked eyes. If you're lucky enough, you can even see the expedition climbing, reaching the top. You can sight a rhinos in the jungles of Bardia or the jungles of Chitwan, one-horned rhinos. You can sight the tigers if you're lucky enough. The honey hunting, for example, could be a lifetime experience. The bungee jump could be a lifetime experience. You need to jump from a bridge right down to the river around 170 meters. The paragliding in Pokhara could be a lifetime experience, or sighting wild water buffalo could be a lifetime experience. Participating in the jatras, whitewater rafting, trekking to Everest Base Camp, or watching the sun go down, making the last reflections on the highest peaks of the mountain, highest peaks of the mountain. It could be a lifetime experience. And walking through the rhododendron forest, millions of flowers blossoming in the trees, on the ground, walking through this forest could be a lifetime experience. And we also have a place called Kali Gandaki Gorge. The gorge is between the Annapurna on one side, Annapurna mountain, 8,000 meters, and on the other side is Manaslu, and there is a deepest gorge. So if you measure the distance from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the gorge, it could be more than 15 kilometers. So nowhere on earth you'd find such height and such depth, culminating into around 15 kilometers. So it is not only this, we have preserved 23% of the country is covered with forest, conservation areas, national parks. And there are some very interesting lakes like Foksundo Lake, which is the deepest lake in Nepal, and Rara Lake, the largest lake, the Fewa Lake in Pokhara. These are some of the large lakes in the Himalayas. And Tilichu Lake, which is the highest lake in the world. So Nepal also harbors the biodiversity, national parks, and amazing kinds of lakes on a high altitude area. Another unique features of this place is shamanism. The Western world has taken this subject so intriguingly. They've started showing a lot of interest to know what shamanism was all about. A man who practices shamanism is in touch with the spirits. He can invoke the spirits, he can cure the disease, he can drive the evils, and he sends a lot of positive vibes. And the tantricism and occult practices are also a part of our culture. It is a method, it is a technique to understand some of the most unique experiences of our thought pattern. Likewise, you see Pokhara, which is a natural destination. It is surrounded by the lakes, the mountains, the waterfall, the limestone rivers, and it is also a gateway to Annapurna, one of the best trekking trails in the world. Likewise, Janakpur and the Mithilia region. Very interesting thing about that is that it is the birthplace of Sita, who is referred to as the symbol of purity and honesty. And during the Bivaha Panchami, every year, thousands of people come from India in marriage procession, and there is a marriage held between Ram and Sita. And this tradition is a continuation of the myths and legends that existed earlier. So when you look at the festivals, what one feels is that the past comes alive in these festivals. The sound of the drums, the cymbals, the flute. When you listen to this, you feel that the past no longer existed, but the past has continued towards the present. The fabric of time dissolves. And another feature is that in these festivals, you can see the gods and the people mingle together. There is nothing called the mortals and the immortals. Myth merges with reality and become one. Another important experience that you have in Nepal is that when you walk in the jungle of the Himalayas, where a lot of people have become enlightened. For example, the Nagarjuna got enlightened in the forest of Kathmandu. Our Sivapuri Baba was enlightened in the forest of here. Padmasambhav was enlightened here. So when you look at the experiences and the impact that it has in consciousness, one really feels that the whole country is like not just like a geography, but it is like a consecrated body of pure divine energy that people get influenced and get transformed in these places. So I would like to, with these brief presentations, I would also like to say that the weather of this place is perfect. We have sunny days almost all throughout the year. In winter, the sun is so balmy. Nepal is perfectly an outdoor destination. And if you travel to this country with the right frame of the mind and with the proper condition of receptivity, it can truly be a lifetime experiences. And I would also like to conclude this presentation by inviting you all to come and join in this group. If you have time, one day maybe you can visit these countries, and whatever you have heard in words now can be experienced very practically. Thank you for listening, and thank you for giving your time. With my presentation now, I would like to ask Monica to show a brief, small videos, which will give you a visual highlights of all the experiences I've narrated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was a very good video and very beautiful side of Nepal that we got to see through the video. I'll let Mr. Bimal do the closing after the video. Mr. Bimal, would you like to say some word before we close the session?
Okay, thank you. Briefly, thank you for coming and listening. And maybe some of us will join this session later also. Maybe they can see the recorded version of it. And now the COVID situation is very uncertain, but we are still prepared for the opening. The hotels, the travel, the trekking, the restaurants, and all the tourism sectors, we have worked out a hygiene protocol to regulate these places for the safety of everybody. And the airports and the hotel, there was somebody asking these questions. When does the tourism board plans to open hotels, resorts, and Kathmandu airport? The date has not yet been fixed, but we are ready with the ground preparations. This is a global crisis. We all have the common experiences, and we want it to be over very soon. We are prepared to open. We have upgraded the airport, and the hotels and the travel industry also will soon come into operation with the new normal. We're very optimistic. Maybe in the consequent session, my senior colleagues would be able to highlight more on the operational part. That's all for now. If there is anything further, I'm ready to take up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bimal. If there is any question, you can drop in, or if there is, do you expect pricing to affect the new hygiene level? There has been the question from the same person. Do you expect the pricing to affect the new hygiene levels in Nepal?
Say it again.
Do you expect the pricing to affect the new hygiene levels in Nepal? Will there be any upgrade in the price with the hygienist and everything that you have to apply with the COVID?
I think definitely this is a very important question. I feel there will be a hike in the price because of the operating cost, because of the social distancing, because of the accessories, equipments, and other things. There will be an extra cost for operation, definitely, but this will not be not to the extent to frighten the consumer.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And I think we got a question from Alice. Alice said that as Nepal has always been known as one of the cleanest land on earth, so are there any plans in tourism board that are working to strike a balance between development and nature resource conservation?
Oh, definitely yes. It's in the brand itself says naturally Nepal. So the level of hygiene, safety, and the concern for environment, we have in the protocol that we have introduced for the tourism industry, there is a special chapter on the sustainability and ecotourism, which focuses on basically the packaging of the products like the toiletries or something that is used in the breakfast table. So mainly we want to do away with the packaging which creates garbage for the environment. Then the focus is on to consume local goods and local services for the sustainability of the local culture, and to have minimum impact on the environment when one is trekking in the Himalayas. Nepal is basically an outdoor destination. So we are very much concerned that the environment should be clean, the water should be fresh, there should be no litter in the forest, or there should be no garbage in camping areas. So we are very much particular about the cleanliness of the place. And we are also trying hard to incorporate the element of sustainability into the new normal.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Bimal. With the time restriction, I'm afraid that we might not be able to take any more questions, but if there is anything, you can directly
Yes.
write to the team and we can help forward it to Nepal Tourism Board. And if you want to know anything related to the Nepal, you can visit their website, which is www.welcomenepal.com, and you can look for more detail if you're planning your next visit to Nepal. Yes, Mr. Bimal, with this, would you like to make a few remarks on closing?
Yes, nice to have all of you here this morning. May God bless us all and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bimal.
Yes. Same to you, Mr.
Yeah.
Bimal.
Okay, so you all have already seen the beautiful side of Nepal through the video. It's actually very pretty for those who haven't been to Nepal. I personally have visited already 4 or 5 times and it's very pretty. So with this moving forward, I'll let on. What do we have next?
Yes, for the next session, we will have quiz sponsored by Nepal Tourism Board at 2 p.m. until 2:30 p.m. And after that, we will have live demo how to make the typical Nepali momo. Wow, I'm so excited to see this session.
Me too. I'm already craving. So like what I said, that we are also at Pada office today. We are going to enjoy momo live. And we are also going to eat momo live because we actually have momo in our office today. So I hope that everyone will tune in and do not forget to log on to dreamtotravel.pata.org for more upcoming session for this week. And those who have missed the previous week, we have actually started, let me quickly recap. We have actually started our festival with Thailand week and then followed by Malaysia week. So those who have actually missed out, they can always go back and watch it on demand. All the link and everything are available on the website. And not to forget to also visit the digital showroom, which is available 24/7, and you can always get to see the exhibitor who actually have showcases their product over there. You can even chat with them and you can get the contact and then you can make further connection. So for now, we both would like to say bye and then we'll see you again today at 2.
At 2, okay.
Thank you so much and have a good day.